Hi, and welcome back to Demystified.
The go-to podcast for aspiring and current doctoral students.
We are pulling back the curtains on the ivory tower.
And shedding some light on the mysteries, myths, and murky academic expectations you may encounter on your doctoral journey. I am William Ankoma, Assistant Professor of Education at St. Francis Xavier University.
And I'm Julianne Burgess, Adjunct Professor of Education at Brock University. We are diverse folks with diverse perspectives.
And William here, I'm a black man originally from Ghana in West Africa, Canadian educator and a scholar.
And I am a white settler educator. I bring a feminist lens with working class immigrant roots. And today we are going to discuss how to put together an application for a PhD program. What do you need to do to improve your chances of getting an offer?
My friends, I think the first thing to do as someone who wants to do a PhD in a program at an institution is to familiarize yourself with the requirements of that PhD program.
Right.
So, things like what's the average percentage you need, the GPA or grade point average, language requirements. If you're an international student, for example, you want to know, do you need to write a TOEFL or IELTS, or does the school offer its own English test, or you don't need it at all?
But those are things that you need to consider. You need to do some homework before you begin. And something else that you might want to think about before you actually apply is establish an academic record for yourself. So present a research paper, perhaps your major research paper or your thesis. You can present it at an academic conference.
And, you can rework some of your end-of-term papers whilst at master's, when you are doing your master's. Or actually, if you have already completed, it's okay to fall back on some of these papers, rework them, submit them for publication considerations, and you can also attend conferences, right, and share these beautiful work you did when you were studying, and that's how you build your academic and research record.
Right. There are student conferences out there, and there are student journals out there where you can try to get your work published and seen. So basically, what you want to do is demonstrate that you are already a scholar.
And I'll share a bit about myself. So before I completed my MA, I already knew, as I said in our first episode, that I already knew I wanted to do a PhD. And I got a friend who also was aspiring to do a PhD. And he was a step ahead of me, had already attended conferences and published a paper. And so he asked, have you done any conference? Have you published? I said, no. He says, what are you waiting for? So that really was a spark. And I finished my master's with 3 academic conferences. They were all peer-reviewed. One was an international one. And I also reworked one of my end-of-term papers that I think was very strong. And actually, that became my first publication.
So you established a track record before you started at the application process, which is great.
Right.
So something that you may consider doing is researching supervisors. Some programs will assign the supervisor to you. You need to know if that's the process. The other thing that you need to do is, let's just say you need to go shopping for a supervisor.
Yes, you have to. And before I finished my master's, I was already doing this. I sent out a bunch of letters to connect with prospective supervisors. And, you will get a flat-out no. You will have those who will not respond to you. And then you have those who would say, well, this was my experience. I only work with students I have taught before or have done some research with before. But don't let all these things discourage you.
No.
Sometimes it's also very easy. Somebody actually wants to work with you in your PhD. And they, like we said in our first episode, they encourage you to put in the application.
Right. So, one of the things that you can do is a little bit of homework before you contact any prospective supervisor by reading their work, seeing if your research interests align with theirs. And before contacting them, write an abstract for your research proposal and send it along with that email request. So, you might want to ask if you can have a meeting with them to discuss your research proposal and your interests, because this is important. This is a big relationship that you're trying to establish, and you want to choose your supervisor with care.
And in fact, the abstract, it could just be a summary of what you're thinking, the research interests you have, what you have seen, because you've gone through their profiles. And that was my experience. In fact, every program, I applied to 4 programs, and I took the time and read through. They will have on their website prospective supervisors, like profs who are already open to take more students, right? So I read through theirs, and this one, no, their interest does not match mine. This one matches, and then I put all these things together, and then I emailed them. And I got a very good advice from a very good, an experienced professor from OIC, University of Toronto. And he said that, okay, though I have agreed to work with you, I also want you to look for 3 other prospective profs who could be on your committee when you are admitted. So, and I want you to include them in your statement of intent. So I had this professor plus other 3 professors I contacted, and they all said yes.
Oh, that's good. He gave you homework.
Yes, a lot of it.
That's good. Well, another piece of homework that you need to do is to really explore PhD programs. If you are in social sciences or humanities, see if you're actually required to write comprehensive exams. And if you do have those comps, is that okay with you? Because some programs may actually just ask you to write a long paper instead of doing those comprehensive exams. In our program, in our Faculty of Education, we were asked to put together a comprehensive portfolio, which was a lot of work, and it was a demonstration of our scholarship to date, and it was really meaningful. We actually had to defend that portfolio. It was a mini version of the dissertation defense, and it was a really good experience. So that's something to consider, and it's not something to run away from. The portfolio was fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a mini.
No,
experience.
it was an experience.
My comprehensive portfolio is about 250 pages long,
including the reference list.
Including the reference list. Plus, the defense was over 2 hours, almost 3 hours defense, where you are asked, questions about what you have there, and then so many other things. So, are you ready for this, or you want the one that you will be asked to write some long essay to prepare you for your dissertation, or the one that you actually have a bit of oral conversation? And some you have to actually take coursework. So once you familiarize yourself with the requirements of the program, you will get to know all these things. And if something is not clear, you just need to write to the program's director or Faculty of Graduate Studies, and they will respond to you. They want people. They want really, intelligent people who want to do this PhD.
That's right.
Right.
And another thing you need to investigate is whether your PhD program is fully funded. And if you see those words fully funded, you need to dig a little deeper to find out what exactly that means. Does that mean 3 years of funding or 4 years of funding or more? What does that funding cover? Perhaps it's just going to cover your tuition, perhaps more than that. But you need to find out what exactly the funding is for your program.
Right. So again, on my part, I got an offer with a 5-year funding, which was really, really attractive. And I got an offer with a 4-year funding, but I turned down the 5-year one because the distance, the proximity was just something too much. I couldn't relocate with little children. I just could not. So I took the 4. You have to, put all these things into consideration.
Now, something else that goes into your application is a convincing statement of intent, a letter of intent that details your educational background, your work experience, and your research interests, and what the benefits of the program will be for you and for society at large.
Yeah, and it is here that you include the prospective supervisors' names, right? That you already contacted these profs because your research interests align, and they have agreed to work with you when you are admitted. It's so important. Now, this letter of intent or statement of intent, or whatever you prefer to call it, it's an important piece. It's something that is already, it's showing the committee that you have what it takes to be a good writer, someone who can argue ideas, right? So you want to be very convincing, and that is why you need to involve that supervisor or even your friends, your knowledgeable friends, to really help you edit before you send it.
Yep, you need to start early and take your time with your writing and be prepared to revise as you go along. The other thing you need to put together is a research plan. And this may not be very long, but you need to put in here the details of what you will be researching when you're accepted. So perhaps 2 pages long here. So what are the kind of things that you would put in your research proposal?
You need to identify a researchable topic, right? A proposed topic, a research problem, not always a problem. It could be an innovative idea, right, that you want to explore further. So it's not always a problem. Research question, what you want to find answers for, a theoretical or conceptual framework. Yeah, you may be a young scholar, so you may be struggling with this a bit, but that's why you want people to give you feedback, right? Those who will be writing your reference letters, you need to share this with them, and they'll give you feedback. Your prospective supervisor will, and then your knowledgeable friends will do. And most importantly, you also have to demonstrate that you know the research that has already been done in the field. So you need to steep your plan in existing research. You have to cite your sources so you're not accused of plagiarizing before you even start the program.
So what are universities looking for? What's the committee going to be looking for? What kinds of things make a strong PhD application? Well, some advice from the University of Bristol is suggesting that you need evidence of scholarship. They'll be looking at your master's thesis for your writing, and they want other samples of your work, such as conference papers and presentations, publications that you've done. They want to see this in your CV. And they'll be looking for strong references. And the key word here is strong. When you are asking someone if they will provide a reference for you, ask them if they will provide a strong reference. Use those words, a strong reference. If they can't do that, if they don't agree to that, you don't want them. You do not want a tepid or lukewarm reference. That is not going to get you into the program.
And some are very honest. When I was in the PhD program, I reached out to someone who had taught me twice. Not that I didn't do well in the courses I took with this prof, but when I reached out, the prof said, I still don't know you that much, so I'm sorry, I won't write for you. It's okay. That's really good. Instead of the person accepting to write something that will not get you in there. And so I agree with Dr. J here. Strong reference. If they're not ready to do that, kick them out of the way and move on. You will find someone who can't wait to just support you with the strong reference because they know you, they know your work, they know your work ethics, right? They know that you have what it takes to be successful in a doctoral program.
That's right. And you want to make sure that your research proposal is topical, that it addresses a current concern, and it's also a good fit with your supervisor and the faculty. You need a solid research design. You need the right methodology for your research question. And you may not understand how those pieces fit together, and this is, again, where you need some expert advice, someone who's going to take a look at your research proposal and tell you how you can strengthen it.
Yes. So, yeah, all too soon we've come to the end of today's episode. And my friends, we wish you the best of luck with your application.
That's right. And thanks for joining us for today. You've been listening to Demystified. I'm Dr. Julianne Burgess.
And I'm Dr. William Ankoma.
And we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at PhDemystified@gmail.com. And we look forward to chatting with you again in 2 weeks.
Take care and talk soon.
Thank you for listening to Demystified. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to stay updated on new releases. We love to hear from our listeners, so please reach out to us at PhDemystified@gmail.com if you'd like to get in touch. This podcast is hosted and produced by Julianne Burgess, PhD, and William Ankoma, PhD, in collaboration with Brock University's Makerspace Studio. Co-produced and edited by Serena Atella. Music is High on Loungin' by Wax Lyricist. This podcast is financially supported by St. Francis Xavier University.